All right, we are live. I see I have one guest showed up as I asked him to. Thank you very much, Mauser Waffen 98, for showing up. It's just, well, several people have asked a lot of questions. Like I said in my Sunday live uh, thing, or actually, I think I did one on Saturday. Yeah, I did. Um, a lot of things going on, a lot of questions. Some of them have to do with my channel, guns, bargain guns. I guess you would call it deflation. I think that's what is happening in the firearms market and why all these bargains are coming up and why the prices are dropping is, I think, an example of deflation or stagflation, however you want to look at it. Um, there's that. I got burned for a week for an old video that threw me off because I was right in the middle of doing some videos on my budget ARs. I actually got the two little handguns and two rifles. And seriously, they just keep lowering the price another 30, 40 each week. Okay, it's weird. And there are several other things I picked up thanks to Mauserwaffen. I picked up the Star 30, which was an outstanding pistol and something I wanted to add to my collection. Not too terrible, I might add up a price, considering those things are going to be harder and harder to get. So we got Hunter Wrangler here. Um, so a lot of things going on, a lot of questions. I've been trying to get caught up. I've been doing my own personal reloading. I kind of finished up things with 22 250 for my buddy. I should send him a text message today. Try to get in contact with him, see if he likes the work I've done for him. And he can dispatch his coyotes on his property. Been working on several other things. I actually, with that new 15 reloader 15.5, I made a killer load for my 6.5 Creedmoor with a 140 grain bullet. That's a very strange powder. I'll do a members video discussing that. I bought that by mistake, and fortunately, what did I use it on? I used it on, okay, just the Creedmoor, and I used it on the 22 250. And I think what I used is that Hodgdon 4895 for the 7.62 by 53, which the reason I used the designation and I had 100 pieces of brass is because I am using a 30 caliber bullet in that load, not the 312 like goes in the Mosin Nagant. And I should go with the Mosin Nagant and do a load for that. I used one powder, I didn't like it, but I know because I used, what the hell is it? 4064 7.7 Jap. And I got good results for it. And I may try it in 7.62 by 54. And I went and prepped all this brass for the 7.65 by 53 because I had that carbine in several rifles, and I got to go develop a load for that. So I'm gonna be quite busy in the members department now that the weather's nice. I mean, like I was out in the garage today, just prepping stuff and doing some work and get 3-4 hours out there. It's nice and cool. Everyone's at work. I'm retired, so it's quiet. Nobody disturbs me, and I can concentrate, and I like it. And then I said, after I went out for after lunch, went for my walk. I said, why don't I do a live? See, I know a lot of guys show up, which they are now, when I do these lives in the middle of the day. All right, Navy Vet 76. I hope you got the email and the information that I gave to you. And like I told you, I don't like being an ass about it, but when people just walk up or come and send me an email and just demand things without me not having a rapport with them or communicating with them on a normal basis, yeah, I don't really just like giving out info because someone demands it. I never hear from them again. And they never comment. They never give me a positive thing. So that's why I kind of, it's for the info. Yeah, I got a good load for that with 4064. I've used it. Actually, I'll take that thing out and shoot it. I went out and shot a bunch of guns at 100 and 200 yards. Mostly that little 22 250 by 6.5, and I have Thompson Center compass in 308. And I'm trying to get an accurate 308 load. Now, remember, all them years ago in 2018, when I bought all those budget guns, because that Thompson Center has the R5 rifling, supposed to be special, and I was going to run it against that Remington 770 something, and I never did. And if I did, I mixed the target things up in the video all them years ago. So that's something I got to kind of relive and try again, something to pass time and use up my extensive supplies there. All right, buddy. Yep, not a problem. Brand videos. Oh, you did, but it's been a while, and I had a lot going on. I just seen you, so I figured I'd give you a kind mention there. Yeah, if you could find it, I went and bought, panic bought 8 pounds of it, or actually 16 pounds of it. Just threw it on the cart so I'd have it. Now I got it. That's the powder I was looking for. 4350's a good one for all of these calibers. 7.7 Jap. I think, I forget what I used. It was like in a 308. I know 303 British. 303 British likes Varget. But 4350, I had good results. I don't know if I used it in the 7.62 by 54 or not. I think I might have used it in the Nagant. Maybe not. I can't remember now. Now I have to go through it all again. But yeah, that's a good powder to use in all of those military calibers from World War II, all the substantial ones. I might even give it a shot in the 7.63 Argentine, Hey, what's going on? I have a question. Yes, that was given to me by a friend. And that's what it is. Okay, a friend of mine that I was helping, he's an older gentleman. He buys all this stuff from different places, be it gun shops or whatever, and he went somewhere and bought a pile of stuff. And he had these boxes there. They had the boxes of ammo. And I think he bought some sort of gun. But yeah, they gave him the ammo, and I did him a favor. I helped him out with something. And I think this one, he actually gave me the stuff. I don't know if he gave it to me or sold it to me for like $20 or some ridiculous price. And the only time I loaded up my rifles is you got it with that one. You got to slug the bore, and then I went and had a bullet made. You could get the different bullets made. I slugged the two I have. I have one from the Nepalese stash, and another one I just bought in an auction. Paid like, I don't know, $150 more than what they were asking for them. And that thing is in really nice shape. When I went and made the ammo finally and fired the Nepalese one, the forend was dry rotted, and after so many rounds, it all just split and fell apart. So I haven't shot it since, but the other gun I can. All right, get caught. Great results for, yeah, 4320s I've used, and they say Varget is kind of a more similar, but don't, take a 4320 and use the same weight, but it's similar powder. Varget kind of fill that void. Similar box. Yeah, because it's in somewhat decent shape, so I just set it there and left it there. I'm not going to fire these cartridges, but like I said, my buddy cut me a deal or something on it. I forget, it was years ago, because I helped him with some things. Actually, I was helping him liquidate a lot of stuff. Well, you guys, if you got my garage sale emails, a lot of that stuff was his. And the nice thing is if I can sell it for him, great. If not, I just take it back. So yeah, I think there's 2 boxes or something. I did take one apart. Usually, if I get a bunch of it and there's a couple odd shells, that one there's a full box. I didn't want to fool it. I think the other box is either partial or the box is deteriorated or something. I did pull one apart, and I pulled apart an original Italian one that had that weird nitro-based gunpowder or whatever that stuff is, and I pulled apart some Verndl cartridges and a bunch of other stuff. That's right, we're going on the elk hunt, huh? Black Hills makes some good ammo. I fired some of it. So yeah, that would be a way to go. No, this says smokeless powder, but I think it is cordite, because I had some old 303 rounds that had cordite in them. It was quite. I think I pulled one apart. I don't remember. I got those back when I was in high school, and I had a little ammo collection, and I used to pull things apart. Yeah. See, I think they made them cartridges like the 303s. They made them a straight wall, would drop that stuff in there, and then put a bullet and they just kind of crimped it down or put a cardboard wad on top, crimped the neck, like stamped it, and then set the bullet down. You can see where it come with like little prick punches or something, and would just pinch the bullet on there. But yeah. So getting back into the ammo, I got so much junk. You see this room just lying here, stuff I haven't looked at in 15 years. It's all worth money now. Gotta stay hydrated. Say those 199 Norinkos. G2G. Are they pistols? Let me look. PSA's got all kinds of stuff. I got one of those SAS, SAP, or SA9Xs, the kit, and I just got the thing in yesterday. Let's look. And I had one of them things. I had one of those things I bought at Sportsman's Warehouse, and I paid like $4 just about for it. And it was gray, and all it is kind of a combination of a Glock with it's one of them hybrids. The upper slide net is just Glock. It's got a takedown, I think, of a FN and some other differences. It's one of them hybrid, but they're damn good pistols and they shoot well. It just, that one didn't fit my hand. I bought one of the I got to dig it out. What was it? It was one of the Turkish guns. I'll get it out. I bought it years and years ago, and it came with a paddle holster and all this stuff. It was great. But I wanted to get rid of it, and I figured, let me get this new gun, try it out. And I was going to do it, and I took it to the range. I shot the one there. Let me see this. Nope, they still ain't shifting gun. Let's see, guns, pistols. Are we talking about pistols? Caliber. Ask the question. Now I gotta kind of look it up. 7.62. There's only 3 of them, so let's see what you're talking about. Chinese Tokarevs or Norinkos. They're 349. Or here's the Yugoslav. I don't know. Is that what you were talking about? Not quite sure. That's low to record. I don't know how weird that stuff is, or corrosive, or whatever. I'm not quite sure. T-54s. Yeah. Well, they got them very good for 3.5. Let's see. How you doing, SC Patriot? Good to go. Another code. Yeah, Chinese. I picked up one. I had a Romanian one that I liked and shot. I got the big Yugoslavian one with the longer grip. I bought one of those. I always wanted a Polish Radom, Circle 11. Never could. And if you do find them, they're priced a bit high. And then I ended up with a Norinco, okay, that I believe was marked. It wasn't military marked. It was marked Norinco. I got that out of an estate, and it didn't. It's something strange about it. It didn't shoot well. The Yugoslav guns and Romanian guns shot great, and this thing. So I had somebody seen it and wanted it, and I ended up doing a trade or something and kind of got rid of it. I should have kept it, but now as the years go on, I'm looking at, I don't know, something's got to go somewhere so something new can replace it. Put it that in those terms. Can't keep it all. What were they doing? Selling the ones that were in a lesser grade or something? Because I picked up one of those Beretta 34s with the threaded screwed up barrel or something. They had them for $199, and I ordered it. It's going to be a week ago. It's still being processed. They ain't sent it yet, and I'm already certain that the muzzle, the crown, and everything is wrecked. So I went to Atlantic and I bought two barrels for about 25 a piece. They're pull-offs, and I'm gonna try to figure out a way to face them off, turn them, or maybe even like our gun sold them where they machine the barrels flush to the slide. Now the problem is the proper way to take that gun down is you lock the slide back and you would push down on a wooden table to pop it out, not just whack it. And I don't know how they get those guns apart. That's why that barrel sticks out of the slide a little bit. Well, if you pull it back, it'll be even longer. So yeah, maybe not. I don't know. But I'm going to do some barrel work and see if I can shorten them up. Maybe one barrel I'll shorten up, the other one I'll just try to turn, recrown, reblue. Because somebody showed a picture one, the splatter from the welding or brazing or whatever they did got down inside the barrel, and I think it's unsafe to shoot in that condition. Okay, I'd have to look at it, but that's something that's coming. It didn't get here yet. Yeah, that's a great cartridge, and it used to be so dirt cheap. I think I had a box that was 80 rounds in a box. I paid $7.50 for it at a gun show. It was quite a long time ago. And you used to be able to buy cases of stuff for $100 some. And then I have no idea what happened. Somebody told me some guy was trying to corner the market, and it all disappeared. It all just disappeared one day. What the hell the story was? Yeah, and they're accurate too. But that was it. I still have to go into loading that. The only way to do that is load it, but them guns, Megabait, uh, when that stuff comes out of the gun, I mean, it goes flying. So trying to reload or even find the brass uh, is tough. It's kind of like the Largo too. Yeah, I wanted to load it because whatchamacallit, Starline makes actual good brass that's beefed up so it don't tear out. On your Radical AR, Namlock rail. Yeah, I mean that's very awkward. There's got to put some other type of thing for me to grab a hold of it. Um, it's like a half-inch in diameter bigger, and then the other one I got is very similar to it, but it's much narrower, and it does make a difference. Plus, You guys see me shoot those pistols. Forget it, man. I mean, to me, I don't know. The jawbone, I could get a hold of it and get something decent with it. The 223, the way the brace is, it just moves in that. And I don't know, maybe it's just because it's got more juice. Uh, I bought that just to review it. And, if you want something like that, it's cool. Even though it's all polymer, it does works flawlessly. I just can't hit a damn thing with it, you know. So to me, it's pretty much a useless item. But yeah, that's true. And that's kind of just the way it is. I don't know how. It's not. No wonder sheep is running. Okay. I don't know how. What was I going to say? Oh, the way they have that. All of them have the same style handguard, which I believe, because I think I took one off the pistol. Even the pistol's got it. I guess they screw a nut on there to hold the barrel to the upper. And then there's two deep grooves that go around cylindrical. You run your gas block through the tops, or maybe it's machined to where you don't even got to worry about timing it. You just torque it and go. And then them screws that are on the bottom kind of collapse the thing and grip it, and then the screws actually go through the groove. Okay, so it doesn't move. Some people have had trouble with them moving, and one of them has a third screw that goes up through the center, like to the block into that. And I forget which one it was because it's either Radical or is the one I got, and then another one. I forget the name of that company. But one of them has a screw, and that thing is like Loctited in there or something. You can't move that forward handguard. And I really don't know what you would replace them with something similar or that design, because a lot of them, I've built so many of them. There's so many different bizarre designs out there that either bolt in with four little bolts or screws and all kinds of stuff, or the traditional ones with the slip rings. You don't see those much anymore. Uh, so yeah, I don't know about how you would replace them or with what, but that is. Well, did you get one that still was threaded, or did you get one that had the barrel replaced? Because the thing is, everybody I've seen that had a brand new barrel, they had the option of you could get one with a newly manufactured barrel. Readiness review, and I found another guy that took it out and fired it. And readiness review, his was shooting super low, and this other guy that bought one with the new barrel, his was shooting super high. He had to like almost, he had to aim below the target to hit it. So something about that barrel being swapped around, that's why I want to kind of, I did it as a project, and that will have to be done on Rumble. When I discuss that and do the lathe work on, I can fit that in my little lathe and recrown that barrel. Maybe even like Navy Vector says, do a counter bore of some sort. I can do it with an ML or a reamer or something. Because if they damage the inside of the barrel rifling with when they soldered, welded, pinned, whatever nonsense they did, I have to examine it. It may counterboring it may be a way to go. You know, but yeah, there's a lot of deals out there. Like I said, I don't know if you want to call it stagflation or deflation. If you got some extra cash and you see some of these things you like, uh, go for it, because I believe once um, things settle out, and if the economy gets worse, once these people get the inventory done, I think companies are just going to stop manufacturing the stuff. When they're not making a profit on it, uh, who's going to want it? It's like them Turkish shotguns. They've kind of dried up. They got some different names out there, and some of them pop up with that 199.99 deal or something on them pump guns. That's gone. You know, Granted, some of them were pure junk, but what are you gonna do? My spam cams, Tupac's. Well, that's part of the joys of home ownership. 72, yeah, 72 or 80, I forget what it was with that. 7.62. That's one I'm going to try to reload. Because I'm tired of firing the corrosive ammo. I think I still have some more stuff, the old Polish stuff from the 50s, but like the necks were splitting on them and everything. And sometimes they kind of fall apart, but I think we got it from Sportsman's Guide or something, was selling it all them years ago. I still got some of that. It works. Tried selling it, and the one guy goes, "This stuff's junk. It ain't gonna work," because the boxes were all sealed. And he goes, "Yeah, this is that stuff that's garbage. It's no good." I said, "All right, then don't buy it." And I think I even bought somewhere in one of my cabinets. I found some ammo I bought for those pistols that's reloadable. I may have to go dig that out. Another project. Yes, but going back to deflation, gold and silver taking a hit. Everybody's all worked up over that. Silver almost went to 40, it was 43, almost $44 an ounce, now 41.82. Gold went up to 3,700 and something. Now it's down to 3,680, so it's back down again, which is not a good sign for the economy. I guess President Trump has flown off to Europe because the war in Ukraine is getting out of control. And I have no idea what's going on in the Middle East, but that's another frightening thing. And any of you guys that have been out on YouTube and see the whole array of stuff out there, with Charlie Kirk and that, and this is worse than the Kennedy assassination, with all the theories and all these news people talking with all these gun experts. And one guy, "Oh yeah, bolt action hunting rifle, you could take that down, break it down in a matter of seconds and fold over the stock." And this, I don't know who this woman was or this nut job. And then one guy actually made a video where he was standing with a high-powered rifle and a scope tucked into his pants. Goes, "Yes, you can tuck a gun into your pants." And it goes on forever. Now, I guess today, when I was going through, just all these people got fired. And the thing is, irregardless, I found this out up in New York State over 20 years ago. New York State became a right to work state. And I worked in this place, it was like 13, 14 years. And the owner had a new manager, and he just comes in, he gives you an employee book that explains the vacation, your benefits, this and that, and explains to you that this is a right to work state. And you had to sign this official document saying that they could just terminate you at any time, not give you a reason or anything. They just walk up to you and say, "Okay, you're done." All right. You have no recourse. They don't have to tell you why, so you can't accuse them of wrongfully terminating you when they don't give you a reason. Okay. And and he says, well, look at the bright side. You don't have to give us a notice if you decide you don't want to work here anymore. Well, that was nice of you. And yes, when you do get fired, you cannot collect unemployment. I remember in the old days, you'd have to go back and petition them or something. And it was so many days if you couldn't find a job. There was a time period. Then they may granted you a limited amount of the unemployment insurance or benefits. So yeah, it's just insane, And then again, I guess Washington gun lawyers saying that the state of California wants to ban Glock handguns now. So again, more nonsense, ridiculousness. My thing gets stuck here. Oh yeah, it did. So let's see. Got to round out $600. I know it's tough. It's tough to find a good one for any kind of money. Well, the threads, they ain't worried about that threads being damaged. If there was a pin put in there or something, they may have knocked it out around, and the crown, see, the crown's rusted from the soldering on there. Down and to the right. How much is, I guess it all kind of depends. That could be from the barrel being torqued, because they just took a die and cut that, and that's rough cutting. That wasn't machined on a lathe. They just did a crude job on there, and that could be what's throwing it off. But putting the new ones on, I guess they're not fitted quite right. And a Trump slump. Yep. Well, no, it's not the Trump slump. I mean, this has been going on for a couple of years. I've been reviewing budget guns for a long time now, and Trump slump or not, it's pretty rugged. They pop up at auctions. It's just you got to be careful. You got to see, and sometimes depending who's in the auction or who wants it, you could make out. You might be able to get it somewhat for few C notes less than what you're thinking, but generally them auction fees are brutal. Some of them are over 20% and everything else. Then you got to have the thing shipped to you too. If you can snag one at a local auction, that's the way to go. Surplus Mosin. Yeah, when I did the measurements, 12, 13, about 14 is about the norm. Which with a jacketed bullet, it's not a problem. Okay, you can get halfway decent accuracy. I had to start working with some of the Mosins and see what I can get. That's why that weird ammo, the standard infantry ammo with 150 grain bullet, the way that was made, they put the lead coroner and I think they stamped it. They had a hollowed out base. Okay, and that was the standard infantry rifle bullet. I had a case of it, and Teleosaurus had it. And I think that stuff shot pretty good, but I think that's what the deal was with it, with that hollow skirt on the base. Yeah, things are everything. I mean, gun laws, the wars, the economy. Who knows what's going to happen? And I mean, the thing that gets me is I never ever made a video saying you should go out and uh, harm anyone physically in any way, shape, or form. I spoke out against the plague and got burned for medical misinformation and stuff, but I never said to do anything to anyone. And now I'm seeing a lot of channels, a lot of gun channels. Some of these guys are putting out the damn wrong message. Of course, but it's like one person said, you got crazy people on the right and crazy people on the left. And let's not forget the people that don't fit in to either category, which are got a screw loose floating around also. Okay. Uh, and these platforms, let them get vocal. But the thing is, when somebody on one side says something, says some nasty stuff, they should have been, censored. That's what happens to me. When I said I disagreed with what was going on during that era there for health issues, or I remember if you spoke out against the war in Ukraine, uh, PayPal would fine you $2,000 or something. I don't know how the hell that works, but that was, but yet these other people can scream and yell and say whatever they want, and nothing's done to them. 3 cans, I buy 25. All right, that's nice. Got a nice stockpile there. Well, from what I've seen, those barrels had a die run on them, which half inch 20, not 24, that's a coarse thread. Okay, you don't want to put a suppressor or a muzzle brake on anything with a coarse thread. And then something about, I think, to get them through customs or to the law about them being too small in size, they had to screw this fake suppressor thing on there, and then they had to pin it and either braze it or weld it, which that's what the rust. And there's probably, I've seen one guy showed his barrel had splatter down inside the bore, like weld splatter, which I don't think that's safe to shoot. I think that's why they kind of did it. Yeah, it was something because there's some kind of ruling that if the gun is too small overall in the barrel length or something, it can't be imported. That's why the Walter PPK has to be manufactured here. And I think those Berettas fall into that. Now, there was a boatload of them brought over before 1968 after the war. I guess they made them until the 80s or 90s. And these were, they got dates 1972 and that. I guess they said they were still issued in the military to like clerks and medics used to carry them for personal protection because they were smaller, not as visible, when they were doing their overseas stuff and helping whatever they do. I guess they were still issued for quite some time. $32. No, 32. I got it. It's still in a drawer somewhere. Um, looking at this, it's 32 compared to 380, less damage when you're shooting through the door, or window or whatever. They're about the same size. The only difference is the 32, Who knows? I may go and take that, let me see. What the? SAR, yep. SAR 9X. That's the model I got. And I got the whole kit. And I'm not going to spoil anything. I'll wait till I do the review. I just took it all out yesterday it does have a light on there. So that may be the firearm to use in the wee hours of the morning and have a light. I've never had one on there. 110 grain 30-06 seems to be nice. Yeah, I do. My neighbor bought one of them when I was in high school. And I remember I was mowing his lawn, and he told me, I used to mow his lawn and all that shit. I got done mowing his lawn. He said, "Come over." He goes, "When you get done eating dinner, come over to the house and ride with me to the gun store. And I'm going to go pick up my Beretta Bobcat, I think they call it." And I was still in high school. I drove over there with him, and it was a big. He had it special ordered, and it came in, and everybody was looking at it. And he used to carry. He had that, and later on, he got a Walther TPH little stainless steel gun. And I mean, I could not. If I shot that slide would cut the web of my hand. I hated that thing. I liked that Beretta. And all these years later, I guess I got it all came out of an estate or something. What it was is the woman's husband died, and she wanted like a compact Glock 9 millimeter, and she was trying to raise the funds by selling. There was a couple 25 automatics in there, and then there was that Beretta, and the guy must have carried it because it looked terrible, lint, everything. I told him, "Oh man, this gun's in bad shape." So I got it pretty damn cheap. They still go for about $3. Okay, I think I gave her 100 and a quarter or something for it. But then when I took it home and hosed it down, took it apart and cleaned it, the gun was in pretty good shape. You know, I still have it. That I won't sell. I mean, they still demand about three C notes, 300. Okay. Uh, and whenever I see another one, or I wanted to get like a 22 Jetfire or something, one of the, forget about it. And like I said, them auction premiums anywhere from 18 to 24%. You put a $200-300 bid on there for a little gun like that, but they're desirable. I don't know about New York City. Okay, New York City is like no other place on earth, and it is a place of its own. Okay, but up where I am, they still have unions. Okay, I guess once I got out of General Electric, well, they closed General Electric. I was laid off, and then about 4 or 5 years later, they closed the plant down. Uh, and I worked at another place, the Aerospace Workers Union. All of these places no longer exist. So I don't know if there are unions there. I don't know if the post office had a union, but when you went to a non-union place, these small shops, I call it a small shop, there's about 50 people working at this company. That was small up there. It's a right to work state. And they made it perfectly clear. They just get rid of you. I don't know, because New York State also had some pretty intricate labor laws. And once they passed that stuff around 2000, that all went out the window. Because I was asking my lawyer about it when I was doing a property transfer, and he says, go down to the labor department, check and see what the current laws are. New York State 50 years ago was a totally different place than it is now. It was not a bad place to live. Actually, you were pretty much well off, and it was good quality of life being there. But that is not the way it is now. Legit, yeah. Yeah, I mean, so if you really want one like one of the Tomcats and that, the prices on them have come down a tad bit, but you're better off getting a new one. Um, yeah, they're nice, but you know that's another thing. They make the 84X or the new version, and that is a tad bit more pricier than buying these used ones from PSA or all the surplus dealers. Oh, one thing I'd like to mention while we are here, I got the results from I put out a poll yesterday. Let's see let's say here. Yeah, you're not allowed to work if you're, yeah. So, you know, I don't know how that works. I don't know how it works where I was. They never had a union, and it's a right to work state or something. I know there were unions there, uh, but it's screwed up. All right, I went and I put up a poll, and out of the 25 or almost 26,000 subscribers, I had 118 people reply. In the poll, I asked about the channel, what what would you like to see more of, or content, just firearms, current events, or both topics? Because I know some people complain, why are you talking about political things and that? Well, it kind of goes hand in hand. Okay, when things get unruly, everybody's screaming for new gun laws. Okay, and they still haven't clarified all this nonsense we went through with the ATF changing everything. You go into a shop and the dealer will tell you, no, I talked to them. This pistol braces, that's thing of the past. You have whatever you want, and this and that. Selling a firearm without having some sort of background check run or going through a dealer, in my state, it's a big question. They got rid of the pistol purchasing permits, and they have constitutional carry, I think, passed. So you don't have to have a concealed carry permit to carry concealed, but there's several criteria that's pretty weird to where you can have this right revoked. Okay, and it's not that difficult of a thing to have done. So yeah, so that's why I kind of brought that in. Sometimes we should discuss, and I like the feedback from people on these different things because they are important. They do affect uh, the firearms hobbies, hunting, and just not getting caught up in some legal shit. All right, so I asked the things, firearms, which got the highest percentage, was 52% of the people said firearms videos. Current events was only 2%, so I guess you guys get bombarded enough. You don't need to hear me talk about this stuff. But then again, both topics, kind of trying to put a mixture of them in there, not just strictly because somebody asked, are you going to make a video about Charlie Kirk? And I did, but I don't have no sensational videos, or I ain't got video clips or going to sit in the studio and put all these different little things from Twitter and that. I don't have no sensationalism. So actually, when I do make something, I don't get that many views. So I might as well make something, if I'm only going to get 90 views or something, I might as well make a gun video and get a few hundred. But 47% said both topics. So that means some of the people out there, uh, would like to hear something. All right, yeah. 43 Spanish, I can do some work on that. And the Reformed, though, I don't have one. And I've kind of gotten out of the older guns because it's reloading anything is tough, and doing work on them is even more expensive. You're looking, it's costing me $5-6 every time I yank on the trigger by the time I get, just in the cost, the bullet molds, all that other stuff, and then finding shootable examples of these guns. You guys complain that these Mausers and Enfields, from the British Enfields are all $600-700. Well, you go looking for a Remington rolling block or something that's a nice shootable, you're looking well over $1,000. These bandits, and then you get ones that got beat up pieces of crap that want 700-800 for them too. So that's another rough category there. In this state, New Hampshire. Let's look into that. Yeah, that's kind of, and it's this ain't going away. This is going to escalate. It's going to be crazier than hell. I've heard so many weird things. This is going to be on YouTube, the internet, for forever now. Thank you, Mauser Laughlin. And I guess 47% of the people who took the poll do too. Yeah. All right, like I said, you got to kind of, oh man, rolling boxes. Yeah, see, that's what I mean. Those guns are, because when you got Royal Tiger selling basically scrap iron for $500-600, that just drives the other stuff up. And it's tough to get the brass. I used to be able to buy brass, and Bertram isn't sending brass here anymore. So a lot of these calibers, like the Gra, I went and bought about $300-400 worth of Bertram brass because it fits, it's correct, and it's right. Okay, the Verndl, I got it. A lot of those Mausers, 11mm Mauser. Okay, there's a ton of them here. So that stuff was dirt cheap. That was the cheapest Bertram brass you can get. And I loaded a lot for people, and I still have a stash of it. I don't know how many rounds left, but I'd like to dig them guns out and shoot them one more time. But it's difficult. It's difficult. It's expensive too, getting the ammo together. Yes, Royal Tiger is ridiculous. But yeah, it's tough to do them old calibers. And really, I get more views. The older stuff, on average, I get 400 views from a video. Okay. And I get some, and that's it. If I cover something else, like that little 38 revolver to Roscoe, I was getting thousands, 5,000, 8,000 views on it. It's nothing special. Okay, that's what kind of helps the channel go. Okay, now there's a lot of people that have been members a long time or subscribers and really like them old guns, and I like shooting them too. But I was thinking of getting back. I got a whole bunch of black powder guns. Some of them I haven't fired in years, that I bought new. I wanted to go out this summer and shoot a little, but they tore up the range, and with the heat and everything, uh, I wanted to get some of them cap and ball revolvers out. I got one over there now. I can't pick it up, or it'll shut down the whole thing. Oh, my guns, Ethiopia. Yeah. See, that's another thing. You never heard of what these people. Some guys would shoot them, and I don't know. And if they didn't get overhauled, had them flip up sights, yeah, granted, to find an original one, that's cool. But something tells me, see, a lot of the stuff in between the war was redone, because I seen barrel dates of 42 and that went in, got Parkerized, and I guess they gauged them, and the barrels were still good, and then the rear sight's different. I know if that gun was made in 42, it had that different sight on there, and it didn't have a bayonet lug. Well, they went and remodified those guns. So a bunch of them must have been in the old condition, in fairly good shape, or whatever. Maybe they were all shot out when they sent them over there to Ethiopia. Export model RB for 2 bills. Yeah, but there was a U.S. company that made 43 Spanish brass. That's a little odd. I forget who they were. And there is still a Robinson cartridge if you really want to get a second mortgage on your house to buy some brass. But what was the name of that company? It went in business, went out of business. I think it's gone, was bought by that Robinson or took over by it. And yeah, some of that stuff is intense. Or Robinson. I don't know. Like I said, I gotta just try to sort out what the hell I have and use it up while I can, while I'm still physically able to shoot. Oh, what the hell time is it? All right, it's getting towards 3, and I get ready for the missus. Talking about Bannerman. I don't know what you mean by that. Yeah, I mean, the ones made during the war are a hell of a lot different than the auto ordnance ones or the universals. Universals were kind of the worst. You got to watch that. There was some weird stuff made in the old days that really wasn't good. Oh. No, but hey, guys, thanks for showing up. I got to go to the damn dentist tomorrow, finish up some of my work. Trying to keep posting videos, and I will do a Sunday live. Again, I'll start that again, 10 o'clock. The Gun Geek tried stealing my time slot, but he doesn't get that many people in there. I like to interact with the subscribers, not so much me, somebody just talking about stuff. But no, this was great. We had a good turnout, had a lot of discussion and activity, and that's that's what I want to do. So like I said, I'll see you guys on Sunday. I'll try to get out there, guys. All right, and thanks for stopping by.